everybody. Welcome to Music Time in Africa in Studio 4. Today I have a beautiful, talented young lady from South Africa who just popped into DC 2 days ago to sing for President Obama's inaugural ceremony. Actually, she sang at the ball, the Ambassador's Ball, but she's here and her name is Lira. How you doing, Lira?
I'm good, Heather. How are you?
I'm fine.
Excellent.
I forgot to mention that you're probably very well known already to many of our guests who are going to be watching this on the show because you've won several awards. The South African Music Award.
That's right.
The BET Black Entertainment Television
That's
Award.
True. That's true.
Let's see, MTV Award.
MTV.
Woman of the Year for Glamour Magazine. And I'm sure many other things.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. First time on this platform, so it's very exciting.
Great. So last night you were singing at
the Ambassador's Ball.
Wow, can you tell us about that?
It was really exciting, you know, obviously celebrating President Barack Obama, and it was the first Ambassador's Ball that was being held. And I was the headline act, and we had a lovely mix of diplomats, ambassadors, of course, that are based here in the United States, and just some business people as well. So, but a beautiful crowd, you know, it's just really just great fun. And for me, it was just a huge honor, you know, being a South African artist, being invited to such a prestigious event. And the performance itself was quite memorable, and I think our guests thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm sure they did. And who did you sing with? Who was accompanying you? The band from South Africa that you brought?
Brought my band.
Wow.
We call them the Love Band because we all love what we do. It's a bit cheesy, but we love it. So I brought my band. It's a 4-piece band. And also, even that was just special to sing with my team. I've been with them for years. They are my solid and permanent band. And I just remember how everyone was so excited for us back home. You know, it was just like a big news piece all over the place. So everyone is excited for us, and it's just very memorable.
Yeah. What did you sing?
I sang a whole host of songs. So obviously I was giving entertainment for the guests. So I had about 45 minutes to entertain.
So it was a full set.
Full set.
I
sang a song by Dorothy Masuga, which is a song, well, this is how we opened up our show, just to set the scene. It's called Bayete, which is actually a salutation for a king. But I felt it's like an African greeting. It's called, it goes like Bayete Nkosi, which I felt, you know, really set the tone and gave it that African flavor. And then I sang some of my more popular songs. Rise Again, for example, is the title track of the album that I released here in the United States. I sang Let's Stay Together, which I understand is Barack Obama's favorite song. And I played that as a tribute to him and Michelle. I love them as a couple. You know, I just think they've got such a special bond. I also sang a song that is one of Nelson Mandela's favorite songs. I re-recorded this song in 2010 and sang it at Nelson Mandela's birthday.
Wow.
It's
What is that?
It's called Something Inside So Strong.
Yes.
It was written by Larry Sifry in 1976 when he was touched by the plight of the native South Africans. And such a powerful you know, just a beautiful, empowering song, and everybody loves it now. It's like one of my biggest anthems, as it were, right now. So and I thought it was a beautiful song to sing for Barack at this time. I know he's under a lot of pressure with his second term, and I think some of the things that he has to consider is what will he be remembered for. And the song is just, you know, there's something special about the fact that he is the first black president, but also I think as Africans we feel like, you know, he's just elevated the state of Africa just by his heritage. So just so many beautiful things that we could gain from that. I also sang a song. I had to pay tribute to Miriam Makeba.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I love her.
I love her as well. I mean, I met her for the first time in 2007.
Oh wow!
On my first trip out of the country.
Where did you meet her?
In South Africa.
Oh, okay.
She was actually at a radio station, at a big broadcast, our national broadcaster. And I heard her over the radio station, and I drove all the way there. I just wanted to see her. I didn't even want to bother her. I just like, I have to see her.
Right.
You know, she's a big icon. So the announcer, of course, saw me and allowed me to come in, and we had a chat on air, live on air. And she gave me some beautiful advice just about you know, giving myself the permission to be myself. That the world would try to always turn me into what they feel is acceptable. But for me to stand by the uniqueness of being African and South African, and to always celebrate that. So, you know, as the world opens up to me, I always remember that, and I pay homage to her, because everywhere I go, I almost feel like the world is ready for what I am as an African.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did she inspire you when you were young, or so ever since you were growing up, she was someone that you listened to? Or
not really, because
seek her out?
Her music was banned. I knew of her. So, you know, every now and then you'd sort of you'd hear her music, and I remember the first time I saw her, I thought she was beautiful. It was wonderful to see a glamorous African woman who looked obviously African, but in a beautiful way. Because growing up, African beauty was not so celebrated, you know?
Yeah.
We always wanted the straight hair or a more European look, and here was something that totally embraced everything feminine and African. And I remember how that just resonated with me. That made it okay for me to be who I am, to wear my hair naturally, because it just wants to. I just felt like, you know,
you wanted to already.
I wanted to. So she just made it accessible for me, and she made it seem beautiful to me again. So I would say I discovered her in my early teens.
I see.
And just got into her music and started to understand the stories that she was preserving. She was telling our story, and she was putting it out there. And she was an African that had attained global success. And that's, of course, something that I wanted to be able to achieve. That was always the plan when I started singing. I wanted to be able to sing all over the world.
And you are.
And I, you know, so
awesome.
It just blows my mind. So she's very much, she was the vision that I had for that.
2 questions about her. One, her music was banned in South Africa during apartheid, but after then, it came flooding back, right?
Absolutely, that's true.
What is it like in South Africa today for her music, for Miriam Makeba? I know everyone listens to your music in South Africa, but what about for Miriam Makeba? Is it something people still do listen to on the radio, or not really? Is it just the oldie stuff? I'll
be honest in that I felt we didn't celebrate her enough, in my opinion. I really think we could have. She's done so much for the country. I really feel we could have done so much more, and that's not just her. It's a lot of our musicians that were exiled, and sometimes you get disconnected from the people. But I really think we can never take for granted what they did for us, and especially for me as a musician. That's why I can never forget some of the opportunities that I enjoy. I can go into any part of the world. It's so much easier for me to just get on stage, and people are already attuned to what I'm going to do because of musicians like that. So I find I make it an effort to always celebrate them. But I find as a country, no, I'm afraid not. We don't celebrate them enough.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're informing me on that, because I haven't been to South Africa for a while, and I don't know what's going on there. But you are. And one more connection between Miriam Makeba and you, which is the dress.
True.
That you wore last night. Tell me about that.
My dress was made by one of our more famous designers, David Kleiner. He's actually showing for a 3rd time at New York Fashion Week. And I told him, the brief I gave him was African royalty.
Okay.
And he somehow took inspiration from the dress that Miriam Makeba wore in 1966 in Stockholm in a concert. And you'll find this all over YouTube. And of course, there was a DVD.
The leopard one.
The leopard print. It was so elegant, so timeless, and undeniably African. So we took that and just vogued it up, if you will.
Well, I wish I had seen that last night, but I have some pictures.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous.
I want to just ask you about the video. You have this beautiful video on YouTube. I love it, called Pagade.
Pagade, that's right.
Pagade. What language is that in?
That's Zulu, and Pagade means eternity.
That is a little love story, not little, but it's just, you know, it's a 3-minute, 4-minute video, so it's quaint, but really special. It has this little yellow butterfly-y thing that floats around. It's really just a lovely thing. What was the inspiration for that? Is that a true story?
No, well, what I wanted to do, the song is about the eternity of love.
Okay.
And I wanted to create an African love story.
It did.
An African fairy tale.
Yeah.
And that's why we have elements of little animals floating about. Yeah. So in the video, it's very old school. You know, we took a very old school approach. There's a part where me and my love interest are walking down on a railway, and that plays on the fact that we weren't allowed to sort of display our affection. Like it's a no-no. So when you find love, you find little secret meeting places, because the elders can't see you. You know, you can't be that obvious about when you found your loved one. So of course you have these secret hiding places, and the guy doesn't speak much. Every time he expresses his emotion, it comes out in these sort of glowing little animals, which were all native birds and animals from Africa. And of course, when he declares his love, it appears in cows, which is like a dowry, really. So we wanted to capture the fairy tale element of love as understood by Africans. So I'm glad that comes across.
It really does. I almost got teary-eyed when I saw it. I really did. I loved it. Where was that shot in South Africa?
We shot it in 3 different locations.
The countryside area.
In Gauteng. It's actually in Johannesburg, but just little. I mean, there's so much available just in our little city. You've got the concrete jungle, but you're just like 45 minutes away from wildlife and open spaces, and that's why I love living there. You know, I've got all of my favorite things in and around the same sort of space. So you can also escape to sort of a country kind of vibe within there.
Well, when are you going back to South Africa? When are you going home?
Only beginning of February. I'm gonna steal some time away to go ski.
Really?
While I'm here.
Wow. Yeah. Where are you gonna ski?
I think I'll go to Canada.
Wow.
I've never been to Canada, so I figured I'm here. And I've been working ever since I got here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to steal like 5 days to just go ski a bit.
That sounds great. Yeah. So tell us, what should we be looking for in the next 6 months or so from Lira?
I'm going to be working on my next album. I've currently got an album out here called Rise Again, and it's available on iTunes. But I'm ready to work on the next album, and this will be for global release. And I'm just going to take my time to do hopefully my best work so far.
Yeah.
I'm in such a great space. I just feel like the whole world is opening up, and I'll get to, I'm going to explore collaborating with producers and artists from all over the world, just gathering everything I've experienced so far and producing a body of work from that. So I'll probably spend the first 6 months of the year really focusing on that. But I know I'll be traveling and performing. That's inevitable.
Yes.
I know that's going to happen anyway.
Aside from music, do you have any humanitarian issues or causes that you're supporting in South Africa?
There's a few things that I care about, and all the associations that I work with are working on stuff that I genuinely care about. So it's just a way for me to extend the things that concern me the most. I believe Africa's solutions or education is a permanent solution to Africa's challenges. So I'm a big believer in education. I've got a few students that I personally take through school. At the moment I've got 5. And it's throughout. It's like from primary to high school to college, and 2 in university, and up to 2 in high school. And these are students that show incredible results in their work, but cannot afford to go through good schools. But I also work with an organization called the Student Sponsorship Program. They educate 500 students, so this is business people from across the continent. And what's great about them is that they assign a mentor to each student, which is something that's so necessary, because I can see with the little few students that I have, I don't have time to mentor.
Right.
So, and it's hard, for example, growing up in a township, there are so many things working against you that when the students really make it, it's a big deal, but it's hard to do it on your own.
Right.
So it made sense for me to partner with the Student Sponsorship Program to rather, facilitate it and move my resources that way, because then we've got also obviously a bigger number of students that it's literally breeding African leaders.
Right.
And what happens is that once they graduate, they also then feed into the system as well, which I think is great. You pay it forward.
Right.
I also work with the Change Forever campaign. This is my favorite thing, and this is another thing that President Barack Obama once touched on. He said, African problems will be solved by Africans. And I had a lot of people also asking me, what do you expect of Barack Obama as an African? I was like, nothing. He serves as an inspiration, and that's it. But we are responsible for turning our futures around. So with the Change Forever campaign, it's the question I ask is, you know, or at least what I'm trying to put across is, do what you can with what you have where you are right now. If you don't like the way the world is, change it. Be responsible for the change. I feel like people like Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, and Barack Obama are normal people who have chosen to become an agent of change. That's it. So it's not something that's reserved for a special few. You and I can make a difference. And I write music about it. I run campaigns around it. But it's really just to say, look around, you know, see how you can make a difference. Stop complaining about things. Rather do something about it. And I feel like there are two kinds of people out there in the world. The ones that complain about everything and the ones that do something about what they don't like. So it's really just like a mental shift, a cultural shift. I feel like our generation doesn't have a cause. You know, we are post-apartheid, and our ancestors or our forefathers fought for our freedom. But now that we have this freedom, we don't have a cause. Everybody's just looking out for number one. And we've never been like that as a people. That's such an un-African way. That's what Ubuntu is about. You care about your community. And it's just to bring back that essence, because it is important when you get lifted to see who else you can lift up with you. Right. So it's just to create that as our cause, to lift up more than just ourselves.
That sounds great. Do you have songs that you...
Absolutely, You and I.
What, You and I?
You and I is one of my most popular songs that was specifically directed towards this particular campaign.
Great.
Yeah. I'll actually, of course, I've got a video for that.
We'll send our good creative vibes to you.
Thank you.
And wish you all the best.
Much appreciated.
And thanks for stopping in.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you.